The sun set over the dusty, overcrowded streets of Xantar, casting long shadows over the marketplace. Humans and aliens alike hustled to finish their tasks, avoiding the last of the day's heat. Among them, a young man named Adam moved slowly, his eyes scanning the crowd. His mission was simple: deliver a package to the local trader, then get out of the city. But when Adam passed a dark alley, something caught his attention. A soft laugh echoed from the shadows, sharp and melodic, unlike anything he had ever heard. It wasn't just the laughter that intrigued him, though. It was the person who made it. An alien girl with shimmering violet skin, her silver hair cascading around her shoulders. She leaned casually against the wall, her eyes locked on Adam with a mischievous glint in them. Adam's heart raced as he glanced around, wondering if he had wandered into some sort of trap. The marketplace was always bustling, but no one else seemed to notice the girl. The alien girl stood out even in the crowded city, her beauty striking, yet strange. She didn't fit in with the others. Her intense gaze made Adam feel as if she was studying him, searching for something only she could understand. Before Adam could take another step, the girl pushed herself off the wall and walked toward him. She moved with a grace that felt almost unnatural. Her steps were quiet, but there was an energy in the air, like the world itself held its breath as she approached. "What's the matter, human?" she asked, her voice smooth and teasing. "Don't like surprises?" Adam froze, unsure how to respond. His mind raced, running through every possible scenario. Was this a trap? Was she here to trick him? Yet there was something in her smile that made him hesitate. Her voice, despite its playful tone, had a certain edge to it, like she knew more than she was letting on. "I'm just here to deliver something," Adam said, trying to maintain his composure. "Nothing more. I'm not here for trouble." The girl laughed again, this time louder. "Trouble? You're the one who looks like you're about to run for the hills, human. I'm not the one who's dangerous, not unless you make me." She took another step closer, her presence overwhelming. There was something about her that made him feel both nervous and intrigued at the same time. She raised an eyebrow, her lips curling into a smirk. "You think I'm not funny, don't you?" she said, her words dripping with challenge. "I mean, look at you. You look like you've never even smiled. Well, let's see how long that lasts." Adam opened his mouth to protest, but before he could speak, she snapped her fingers. A sudden bright flash of light filled the air, blinding him for a moment. When his vision cleared, he found himself standing in the same marketplace, but everything around him had changed. The buildings looked different, the people moved strangely, and the sky above was darker than before. He turned quickly, but the girl was gone. Her laughter echoed faintly in the distance, leaving him with a single question. What kind of alien had he just encountered? The air felt thick with uncertainty, and Adam could only wonder how this encounter would change everything. For him, Adam stood in the middle of the marketplace, his heart pounding in his chest. The world around him had shifted so suddenly, leaving him disoriented. The alien girl had vanished, but her presence still lingered in the air. He could feel her eyes on him, even though he couldn't see her. His hand clenched around the sack he was supposed to deliver. The weight of it felt heavier now, as if something had changed in the very fabric of reality. He quickly glanced around, trying to make sense of the situation. People walked by without noticing him, but they weren't the same as before. They moved differently, with strange, jerky motions, as if their movements were being controlled by some unseen force. Some of them had odd glowing marks on their skin, while others had features he hadn't noticed before. They all ignored him, their eyes fixed on whatever they were doing. Adam's mind raced as he tried to find a logical explanation. Was it some kind of illusion? Was this a prank or a test? His eyes darted to the dark alley where the alien girl had been. There was no sign of her now, just empty space and the faint echo of her laughter still in his ears. He began walking cautiously, taking slow steps toward the nearest vendor. The alien market had always been a strange place, but this felt different. He could feel the atmosphere changing with every step he took. The usual hustle and bustle had become eerie and quiet, like the whole city was waiting for something to happen. A chill ran down his spine. The path ahead seemed longer than usual, stretching out endlessly in front of him. As he walked, he noticed more strange details. The neon signs that had once glowed brightly now flickered erratically. The air smelled different, more metallic, and the lights above seemed to distort and bend in strange patterns. It was as if the laws of reality were being twisted around him. Adam's heart raced faster as he turned another corner. The world around him grew darker, the shadows stretching longer. The sound of footsteps echoed behind him, though there was no one in sight. He turned quickly, but there was no one there. The sense of being watched was growing stronger with every passing moment. He hurried his pace, trying to reach the trade center where he was supposed to deliver the package. His mind was filled with questions, none of which made sense. Why had the girl appeared out of nowhere? Why had everything changed so suddenly? More importantly, what was the purpose of this strange encounter? Just as Adam reached the end of the street, a shadowy figure stepped out from behind a corner. It was her again. The alien girl, standing there as if she had never left. Her violet skin seemed to shimmer even more brightly now, and her eyes glowed with an unsettling intensity. She smiled at him, a playful glint in her eye. "I thought I'd give you some time to think," she said, her voice light and teasing. "What do you think so far, human? Not what you expected, right?" Adam stood frozen, unable to speak. His mind was spinning, his thoughts a jumble of confusion and disbelief. How had she appeared out of nowhere? Why was she doing this to him? He wanted to ask her a million questions, but his voice failed him. The girl laughed softly, stepping closer. "I didn't think you'd be so shy, human," she said. "You're not much for conversation, are you? Or maybe you're just afraid of what I might show you. I guess we'll find out, won't we?" With that, she snapped her fingers again, and the world around them shifted once more. The street disappeared, replaced by a swirling vortex of light and color. Adam felt his body being pulled along, unable to resist. Everything was spinning, twisting, until there was nothing left but the alien girl's voice ringing in his ears. "Let's see how long you last in my world, human. Don't worry, I'll make it fun for you." The last words echoed in his mind as he was swept away into the unknown. Adam's body was pulled through the swirling vortex, his senses overwhelmed by the sudden rush of colors and lights. His stomach churned as he felt himself being transported through an unfamiliar space, something beyond the ordinary. He couldn't make sense of it. Everything was spinning too fast for him to grasp any clear thoughts. It felt as though time itself had stopped, or maybe it had been stretched beyond its normal limits. Suddenly, the spinning stopped. Adam stumbled forward, his feet hitting solid ground with a heavy thud. He caught his balance just in time to see the world around him come into focus. He was no longer in the marketplace. Instead, he stood in the middle of a vast open space, with towering structures that seemed to stretch endlessly into the sky. The ground beneath him was smooth and metallic, reflecting the strange, glowing light that filled the air. The sky above was an eerie shade of purple, filled with swirling clouds that gave off an unsettling energy. There were no people in sight, only the faint hum of machinery in the distance, as if the whole place was alive with an unseen force. Adam's heart raced as he looked around, trying to make sense of his new surroundings. The alien girl's voice echoed in his mind, reminding him of her challenge. "Let's see how long you last in my world, human." The words seemed to float in the air, twisting around him as if they were alive. He took a deep breath and started walking, his footsteps echoing through the empty space. The silence was deafening, broken only by the hum of the distant machinery. Every step felt heavy, as if the air itself was pressing down on him. It was a place of isolation, a place where even his thoughts seemed to slow down. Adam's mind raced. As he thought about the girl, what was she? What did she want with him? Why had she brought him to this strange world? He had so many questions, but no answers. All he knew was that he was alone in a place he didn't understand, and the only thing keeping him company was his fear. He continued walking, his eyes scanning the strange landscape. The towering structures around him were unlike anything he had ever seen. They seemed to be made of a material that shifted and shimmered in the light, almost alive in their own right. The air was thick with an otherworldly energy that made his skin tingle, as if something was watching him, waiting for him to make a mistake. Then, without warning, the alien girl appeared again. She stepped out of the shadows, her violet skin glowing brightly in the strange light. Her eyes locked onto Adam's, and she smiled, her expression one of amusement. "I see you found your way around," she said, her voice dripping with sarcasm. "Impressive, human. But let's see how long that lasts in here." Her smirk widened as she took a step closer. Adam stood frozen, his mind still racing. She had brought him here, to this strange place, but why? What was the point of all this? The girl's playful demeanor only added to his confusion. He couldn't understand what she was trying to achieve. But one thing was clear, he was a pawn in some kind of game. "I didn't think you'd be so quick to adapt." The girl continued, circling around him like a predator sizing up its prey. "You're not as helpless as I thought you'd be, human. But don't get too comfortable. Things are about to get interesting." Adam's stomach twisted at the thought. What had she meant by that? He didn't know, but he was about to find out. The air around him seemed to crackle with energy, and he could feel the ground beneath his feet starting to vibrate. It was as if the whole world was shifting, preparing for something he wasn't ready for. Without another word, the girl snapped her fingers again. The ground beneath Adam's feet trembled violently, and a loud noise filled the air. The landscape around him began to change rapidly, shifting and warping as though reality itself was bending. Adam's heart pounded in his chest, and he instinctively took a step back. The alien girl stood there, her eyes gleaming with mischief. "Welcome to my world, human. Let's see if you can keep up," she said. And the world around Adam plunged into chaos. The world around Adam seemed to implode as reality twisted and reshaped itself. The ground shook violently beneath his feet, and the once stable landscape began to distort. Towers stretched up into the sky only to crumble into fragments, while others merged together as if they were alive. The air hummed with a strange energy, its vibrations causing a tingling sensation to rush through Adam's body. He stumbled backward, trying to keep his balance as the world continued to change. The alien girl stood there, unfazed by the chaos unfolding around them. She merely watched him, her violet skin glowing brighter, her eyes filled with amusement. "Are you going to run away, human?" she asked, her voice calm and playful. "You won't get far. This place, my world, won't let you escape so easily." Adam's mind raced, trying to make sense of the impossible situation he found himself in. He had no idea what kind of power she possessed, but he could feel it, a force that seemed to control everything around him. His feet felt heavy, as if the ground itself was trying to hold him in place. He didn't know if he could fight against it, but one thing was certain. He had to try. "Stop messing with me," Adam shouted, his voice shaking with a mix of fear and anger. He was done with the games. He needed answers, and he needed them now. He wasn't here to be toyed with, and he wasn't going to let this alien girl have her fun at his expense. The girl raised an eyebrow, intrigued by his outburst. "Mess with you?" she replied, her tone still light and teasing. "I'm just giving you a little challenge. You seem like the type who's up for one. Or are you telling me you can't handle it, human?" You don't want to disappoint me, do you? Her eyes sparkled with a mischievous glint. Adam clenched his fists, trying to push the fear out of his mind. You think this is funny? He asked, his voice steadying. This isn't some game. You're messing with my life. I want to know why you're doing this, and how I can get back home. Now. The alien girl didn't respond right away. She just stood there, staring at him for a long moment. Adam could feel her gaze cutting through him, like she was searching for something in his soul. Then, without warning, she snapped her fingers once again. The world around them shifted again, this time more subtly. The chaotic landscape calmed, but the eerie feeling of being trapped remained. You think this is all about your life, human? She asked, her voice suddenly more serious. This is bigger than you, bigger than anything you've ever known. You're in my world now, and in my world, you'll learn what it truly means to be out of control. The game hasn't even begun yet, what you see around you. It's just the beginning. Adam's stomach dropped as her words sank in. Was she telling the truth? Was this really some sort of test, a challenge beyond his comprehension? The alien girl smiled again, a knowing smile that made Adam's skin crawl. She was toying with him, manipulating him in ways he couldn't even begin to understand. Are you scared yet, human? She asked, tilting her head slightly. Because things are about to get much worse. Or maybe you'll surprise me. You haven't run away yet. Maybe you're braver than I thought. Let's see how far you're willing to go to survive in this world of mine. Adam's legs trembled, but he refused to show any more weakness. He wasn't going to let her control him. He had no idea what kind of power she had, but he wasn't about to back down now. He had to stay strong, no matter what. I'm not afraid of you, he said, his voice hard. I'm not afraid of whatever game you want to play. I'm going to find a way out of here, and I'm going to make you tell me how to do it. The girl laughed again, a sound that sent a chill down his spine. We'll see, human. We'll see how far you get. You've only just begun to understand what I can do, what my world is capable of. But don't worry, I'll give you plenty of time to figure it out. Time is something I have plenty of. The ground beneath Adam's feet shifted again, this time pulling him in different directions. The alien girl watched him with a look of pure amusement, her hands clasped behind her back. The world around him seemed to bend once more, and Adam was left with no choice but to face whatever came next. Adam's body felt like it was being pulled in every direction at once. The ground beneath him shifted, spinning and twisting with a power beyond anything he had ever known. The alien girl stood there, watching him struggle, a wicked smile playing on her lips. Her violet eyes glowed in the darkening light, and her expression was one of pure amusement. Not so easy now, is it? She said, her voice soft and mocking. You wanted a challenge, human. Well, you've got one. Welcome to my world, where the rules aren't yours to control. Adam gritted his teeth, fighting against the strange force that seemed to have a grip on his body. He refused to let her see him struggle. He had faced worse than this before. But this was something entirely new. His body felt heavy, as if it was being dragged by invisible chains. Every step was an effort, and yet the alien girl seemed unaffected, her movements fluid and graceful. Give it up, she continued, her voice echoing through the chaos. You're not going to win this, human. You're in my world now. You're the one who has to adapt, not me. You thought you could handle it, didn't you? But this is a place where only the strong survive. And right now, you're barely holding on. Adam's heart pounded in his chest as he fought against the pull of the strange force. He knew that if he gave in now, he would lose everything. His mind raced, searching for a way to fight back. What kind of power did she have? Was this some kind of alien technology, or was it something else entirely? He had no answers, only questions. But one thing was certain. He had to keep going. I'm not giving up, Adam said through gritted teeth, his voice steady despite the strain. I'm not going to let you control me. You want to play games? Fine, but I'm not going to lose to you. Not like this. The alien girl laughed, a high musical sound that echoed in the air. So much pride, human. It's almost cute. But pride doesn't help you here. Strength does. And right now, you don't have enough to beat me. But I'll give you credit, you're trying. With a swift motion, the alien girl snapped her fingers once again. The world around them shifted again, but this time it was more subtle. The ground beneath Adam's feet grew solid, but the air around him still vibrated with an unnatural energy. The sky above them seemed to darken, casting long shadows across the landscape. You're in my game now, human, the girl said, her tone colder this time, and I play by my own rules. You'll never win if you keep trying to fight it. You'll only lose more of yourself in the process. Trust me, you don't want to see what happens when you lose control here. Adam took a deep breath, trying to steady himself. The alien girl was right about one thing. He had to adapt. He couldn't keep fighting the impossible. But he didn't have to give up either. There had to be a way out of this, some way to turn the tables. He wasn't going to let her win. Not yet. You want to see how far I'll go? Adam said, his voice low and determined. Then keep playing your game. I'll figure it out. I'm not backing down. The girl raised an eyebrow, intrigued by his sudden resolve. You're more stubborn than I thought. I like that, she said, her voice almost approving. But don't get too comfortable, human. This world isn't made for your kind. It will break you if you're not careful. Adam stood tall, pushing back the fear that was beginning to creep in. He wasn't sure how much longer he could keep up, but he knew one thing for certain. He wasn't going to let her control him any longer. He would find a way to survive this, no matter what it took. And if this was some kind of test, then he would pass it. He would prove that humans weren't as weak as she thought. The air around Adam crackled with energy, the intensity of it pressing down on him like a weight. The alien girl, still standing before him, seemed to feed off his tension, her smile growing wider. She was enjoying this, every moment of it. Adam could see the amusement in her eyes, the way she watched him struggle, and yet, it only fueled his determination. You think you can outsmart me, human? The girl asked, her voice filled with playful mockery. You think you can win this game? I've been around for centuries. You're nothing compared to the challenges I've faced. But you're special. Maybe that's why I'm keeping you around. Adam's fists clenched at his sides. He had heard enough of her taunting. He didn't need to be told how powerful she was. He didn't care about her centuries of experience. This was his fight now, and he wasn't going to lose. You've been testing me for a long time, Adam said, his voice steady despite the chaos around him. But I'm done being your puppet. You can play your games all you want, but it's not going to break me. I'll find a way out of this. I'll do whatever it takes to survive your world. The alien girl's eyes glinted with a mixture of surprise and amusement. She had clearly underestimated him, but her expression quickly shifted into one of curiosity. Oh? You think you've figured it out, human? She asked, her voice lowering to a more serious tone. You're not just some toy to me. I gave you a chance to prove yourself. And now, I'm curious to see if you really have what it takes. Adam didn't back down. He couldn't afford to. This was his final chance to show her that he wasn't afraid. He had no idea how he was going to escape this world, but he had to believe there was a way. He had to hold on to that belief, or else he would be lost forever. The girl took a step closer, her expression unreadable. You're in a game you can't win, human. I've shown you all the rules. You've failed every challenge I've thrown your way, and yet here you are, still standing, still trying. Adam looked her in the eyes, his resolve hardening. I'm still standing because I won't give up. You may control this world, but you don't control me. Not anymore. I'm not going to play by your rules anymore. I'm going to make my own. The alien girl seemed to consider his words for a moment. Her eyes studied him carefully, weighing his resolve. "You're more than I thought you were, human," she finally said, her voice softening just a little. "But this isn't over. Not by a long shot." With a swift motion, the alien girl snapped her fingers again. The world around them began to change once more, but this time it was different. The chaos didn't return. Instead, the world seemed to settle into an eerie calm. The ground beneath Adam's feet became firm and solid, the swirling colors in the sky fading to a soft, serene blue. The girl took a step back, her gaze never leaving Adam's. "I'll give you one final chance," she said, her voice now calm and almost gentle. "This is the last challenge I'm offering you. Beat it, and I'll let you go. Fail, and you'll stay here forever. You've earned your chance to prove yourself." Adam felt a strange calm wash over him. The girl's challenge had shifted, becoming more personal, more direct. He knew this was his final test, the last hurdle before he could escape this strange world. It was now or never. He had to beat whatever came next. "I'm ready," Adam said, his voice steady and firm. "Whatever it takes, I'll win this. I won't be your prisoner any longer." The alien girl's lips curled into a smile, the first real smile she had shown him since they met. "Good," she said softly. "Then let's see if you can really handle the truth of this world. The game begins now, human. Let's see what you're made of."